Hello everyone, welcome in or welcome back to Rainforest Oracle. It is so great to have you here today. Thank you to all of the new subscribers and to those who are supporting this channel through likes, comments, subscribes, views, purchasing my Oracle decks as well as private readings. Your support in any form or fashion is greatly appreciated. So my name is Amanda, if we have not met yet, and this is a general pick-a-card reading for the singles in the room. Last week I did a pick-a-card reading for people in current relationships or in dating situations, so if you're interested in that, click on the link in the description box or wherever the link shows up in the video in the top corner here. So today, please take whatever messages resonates and leave the rest for someone else. And remember that these readings are also timeless, so whenever you come across it, there will be something here to help empower you and align you to your highest good. Quick note on private readings: if you are interested in a private reading, spaces are limited each month. The link to get more details is in the description box below. So for the 3 piles today, I chose the Ace of Cups from 3 different decks. The Ace of Cups speaks to new potential or possibilities in the realm of the heart, whether those are things that bring us joy, heartfelt connections with others, and in love. So before choosing your pile today, feel free to get a beverage of choice. And for the journalers in the room, grab your journal and a pen so you can take notes on the messages offered today. And let me introduce you to the cards, or the piles. For pile number 1, we have the Unfolding Tarot with the Peach Moonstone. For pile number 2, we have the Mermaid Tarot with the Lapidolite stone. And it's a purpley color. It's kind of hard to see. Purpley gray. And for pile number 3, we have the Everyday Witch Tarot with the Lapis Lazuli. So when you feel you are ready to choose your pile, head down into the description box below to find the timestamp for your reading, and we will see you over there. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Unfolding Tarot. And we're going to take a peek at what is next in your love life, assuming that you are single and looking for love. We're going to be pulling a card for your energy. And then we'll get some other cards for what's coming towards you, possibly how you might meet, as well as some obstacles, maybe some advice, and an oracle card at the end to close your reading. So let's first pull a card for your energy. What energy is pile 1 embodying right now? Queen of Swords. So this is very, very sharp-witted, very clear. I feel like you are a very clear communicator. You could be somebody who is in a job or a position that is of some kind of authority or leadership role that has something to do or is connected with communication. Or you could just simply be a person that knows what they want and they're not willing to sacrifice anything to get it. You also can maybe see through people, see through the BS. So you kind of don't beat around the bush either. You're quite direct with people, and I wouldn't say blunt, but yeah, there's a directness here. And there's no opportunity for crossed wires because you are just so clear and you are a great communicator. And leave genders aside, you don't necessarily have to be female. This is simply an energy. So let's get a card now for who's coming towards you. Ooh, okay. 8 of Wands, and it's coming in fast. It's coming in hot. And that's kind of the energy that I feel. It's fast and hot and passionate lots of determination and ambition with this person. I almost get somebody who could be slightly younger than you, but don't let that deter you. I feel like this person is adventurous as well. They like to travel. They like to explore. They're curious about things. They may even connect with you through your communications. You could they could come through some form of communication or some kind of message that you get from them. And that was too many cards, so I'm going to put that back. And we're going to look at how you're going to meet now. How is pile 1 going to meet this person? Spirit, how is pile 1 going to meet this person? Just one card, please. How is pile 1 going to meet this person? Thank you. The High Priestess. I'll show you that in the upright position. So I have a feeling, maybe not necessarily how you will meet them. I'm getting more of a feeling about when you meet them. So this tells me that I feel like it's going to be unexpected, and your logical mind is not going to, you're going to have this gut reaction about this person, but your logical mind is telling you something different. I feel like you are a very logical person. You are very rooted in rationale and reality, and grounded in that reality and the facts, and gathering as much information as you can, but it's almost going to be inexplicable. When you meet them, you're going to have a feeling about them, a gut reaction, and your logic is going to tell you, nah, that's not how we do things. So it's interesting that feeling came out rather than how you're going to meet them. I think when you do meet them, it's going to be kind of this in between, where you're kind of in between different worlds, your logical world and your gut instinct on what this person is and who this person is. We'll get clarifiers actually for this as well. I forgot to mention. So maybe the clarifier will give us a little bit more information as well. You could have some connection, or you could be doing some work or to the spiritual realm, but you might not have your feet in that realm. You might be kind of associated with it, but not tapped into it, not integrated into that spiritual realm. So I almost get that this other person is, and that's how you two might meet. Maybe you're doing some work and you might meet them through that connection. Or, yeah, interesting. We'll get some clarifiers here in a bit. Oh, so you have the Lover's card. So this is the obstacle. Interesting that comes out as the obstacle. I think there's going to be a real... I chuckle because there is a real tension here. Passionate tension between you, because your gut is telling you one thing and your logic is telling you another. But I feel like the obstacle is to try not to fall in love with this person. Maybe your logic is telling you to, no, this is not the person that I saw myself with. This is not how I expected to meet them. This doesn't really align with who I thought and what I thought and how I thought things would come to be. Especially if you are of that logical mindset, you go to a party and you meet somebody and you have a good time, and then you go and you date, and there's a process, there's a logic, there's a step-by-step guide, if you will. But I think this is going to be something a little unexpected, something a little surprising that you didn't expect to happen. And with the Lovers coming out, that almost makes me feel like it's confirmation that it's going to catch you by surprise. There is going to be a deep passion here, and that might be an obstacle for you because you're used to having things being not as fast, not as passionate, not as kind of heart-centered or heartfelt so quickly. There's an intuition here. There is a romance that's happening that you might not be used to. So that could be an obstacle, even though it's lovely. It could be an obstacle for you. And the advice is the 10 of Cups, and it came out reverse. So this tells me that you should really give this a bit of a chance and not tamp it out before it starts. And also to not, to sabotage any potential, because it's not what you expected. It's not who you expected. It's not how you expected. Because I do feel there is potential here. There is passion here. There is a sense of fulfillment or potential fulfillment. But there is a block because it's in reverse. So I think the advice is to not block it and to be open-hearted about it. And that might be a challenge for you as well, due to maybe past hurts or just your experience in the love arena. You know, some things don't go smoothly, and we might be familiar or comfortable with a certain type of person, and so when we meet somebody that's different, we can't really imagine a future with them, so we don't even give it a chance. So there's some advice here to not put it out before you have the information you need to make a real true decision based on data and that logic that I feel you're so rooted in. But let's get some clarifiers now. Could you clarify the 8 of... Where are we? 8 of Wands here, please. Clarify the 8 of Wands, please. So we have another 8. We have an 8 of Pentacles here. So this person really, I feel like they have done a lot of personal work on themselves, which makes sense if they are tapped into the spiritual realm. I feel like they've done a lot of work on themselves to get where they want to go and to know what they want. They aren't afraid of doing new things. They aren't afraid of doing the work and putting the work in. They like to follow their values. They like to follow what they believe in, and they do that with great passion and determination. And I feel like this has really earned them a lot of success in their life. And so now that they've done all this personal work, they just want to rocket into the future. And so I think that's why they're kind of ready for this relationship. Could you clarify the High Priestess for us in reverse? What is this High Priestess for pile 1? What is this High Priestess? Justice. Yeah, see, I get that feeling. We've got, we don't have a number 2, but the fact that there's 2 different things that this person is balancing, and there's the scales here, I feel like possibly the connection is going to be very equal, very respectful. There's going to be a very even exchange of energy and equality there. I also feel like there's some sense of karma coming into play. And again, there's that logic, and then there's that kind of rational, I'm trying to figure this out and balance, the logic and the passion. I'm trying to kind of work through that. They could also have some ties to the law. And I almost get spiritual law too. So again, that karma could also have something to do with contracts as well. So if you are not necessarily personally associated with that spiritual world, you might have some kind of contract with an organization, with a community of sorts that ends up connecting you to this person somehow. So let's take a peek at this Lovers. What is this Lovers about? Can you clarify the Lovers in the challenge position, please, Spirit? Lovers in the challenge position, please. Too many? Just one, please, Spirit. Just one. Although this one was kind of calling, so, and it's sticking out. Okay, the world. Interesting. There's a real sense of freedom in this, which could be very different for you. An open-heartedness, an open-mindedness, just an openness to explore this new relationship. And you might not be familiar with these feelings of being so open and free with somebody, maybe being so honest and having somebody reciprocate and really appreciate that side of you. And this is the beginning of a new cycle, I feel, as well. You've got some major arcanas here with kind of the how and the feelings that you might feel when you meet them, as well as in the challenge position. And that could be why it is a challenge, is because this is shifting your perspective on relationships, on love. And it is kind of a start of a new cycle. It is opening you up to a new world. And maybe you've been single for some time, so that could be something different for you as well. Maybe you're not, maybe you're curious about love, but you're not actively manifesting it or seeking it. So that's why it kind of comes in as a surprise, because, and even the person comes in as a surprise, the type of person you meet, because it's so not what you were expecting and when you were expecting and how you were expecting. You know, maybe, like I said previously, there might be a certain type that you are used to in a certain kind of environment that you're used to meeting them in, and this is completely different. So I feel it's piqued your curiosity a little bit. Clarify the 10 of Cups in reverse for the advice, please, Spirit. 10 of Cups in reverse for the advice. 10 of Cups in reverse in the advice position. Okay, there's too many there. We'll keep going. 10 of Cups, advice in reverse. Please clarify, Spirit. Thank you. Okay. So, we have the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands can speak to something that we've built that we might be quite proud of, that we can really, build our foundations off of. But there might be a desire or a curiosity or looking out to the future. And like I mentioned before with this 10 of Cups, you can't really see a future with this person because they are very different, and the feelings that you might be having are very different than what you're used to. So it's kind of, you might even come to a point of having to decide, do I stay or do I go? And do I kind of stick with what I know and what I'm familiar with, or do I expand and do I look to the future and do something a little new, something surprising, and kind of see where it takes me? But it requires an open mind. It requires a little bit of determination and a little bit of passion in order to kind of push you through this energy of trying to block this feeling of fulfillment and possibility of fulfillment and really building a life with this person. So it requires you to kind of get beyond where you're currently at and to see the possibilities, to see the potential, and to even not necessarily to predict it or expect certain things, but to be curious about it and wonder about it and be kind of open to seeing where it goes. That's kind of the advice I get there. And we have the World here as well, which is mirroring this. So I get a sense of freedom. You possibly might even be traveling. So could be also how you meet them as well. Or you could potentially be doing worldly things with them. You could be, traveling the world to do either on vacation or to do things for communities all over the world. So what can pile one do now to bring their best selves to the table in this relationship? Get one oracle card from this deck and possibly one more from another. What can pile one do now? Okay. So go slow to win the race. I feel like to not, even though this person might be flying at you out and with surprise, I feel like going slow through this process and using that beautiful logical mind of yours and the collection of information and data to your advantage, and taking your time, not coming to conclusions too quickly and shutting things down before they really get off the ground, because I do feel a great sense of shift in your life in a great way. I think this is really going to expand your world, expand your view on relationships, and really bring in something quite beautiful here. Where are we here in the frame? Okay. Let's give these a shuffle, and then we'll get an oracle card to end your reading here. Okay, one card for pile 1, please, to end their reading. Thank you. Deep knowing. So that really gives me the feeling of the high priestess, of a deep knowing, a deep understanding about ancestral knowledge, or just I feel like it's a gut feeling for this one. And I feel like Spirit is really encouraging you to use your gut rather than your logical mind on this. So I'm going to read a little bit from the guidebook because I feel like it might clarify it more than I can. There are occasions when you just know deep in your heart and soul that a person is going to play a meaningful role in your life, which we've talked about. I feel like this person is. Someone crosses your path and suddenly, out of the blue, you're connected at a level impossible to describe. With the High Priestess being kind of upside down is that feeling of my intuition is telling me one thing, but my logical brain is telling me another, and I really want to ignore the intuition because maybe you don't believe in that. Could be. That feeling marks a moment in time etched indelibly onto your soul. Someone has entered your life who will be instrumental in your journey, so pay attention. Two hearts are calling to each other to begin an alchemical process, which I think the Lovers is. This is also a sign that your intuition about the person you care about is correct. Trust your heart to lead you now. Magic is about to happen. Wow, that is a powerful message that really beautifully sums up the reading. And so I do hope this gave you a little bit of insight, pile 1. That completes your reading today. I hope something here resonated. You're welcome to comment below and let me know. I would love to hear if and when this person enters your life. You could also like this video to say thanks and click that subscribe button so you never miss a reading that I upload. With gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we will see you in your next reading. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Ace of Cups from the Mermaid Tarot and the Lapidolite stone. So we are looking at your single life, or your love life rather, and what you can expect next. We're going to pull an energy card for you, and then we're going to look at who's coming towards you, where you might meet them, the obstacle, and advice, as well as some oracle cards at the end. So Spirit, could we get an energy card for pile 2? Thank you. Oh my. Okay, so you got 2. We're going to look at 2 because apparently they want to tell you something here with 2. We have the King of Cups and the 8 of Wands. So I feel like you're very energetically or emotionally balanced, a very balanced person. You don't really get shaken by things that are happening in your external world. You really are able to give yourself that space in order to process what's going on and to decide how you want to react to the situation, rather than having knee-jerk reactions to something that might upset you or trigger you. So very emotionally balanced person here. You also might not be afraid of emotion or going deep with somebody. So there is an open-heartedness here to not only go deep with somebody, but to really care for the people around you as well. And the Eight of Wands is this fiery energy of having this passion. Maybe you really want to get into a relationship. You feel super, super ready. I do get a readiness because the Eight of Wands is a very fast moving energy, an energy of a lot of passion, a lot of desire, a lot of ambition to kind of reach that goal. Travel also could be indicated here, where you love traveling or you might meet them on travels. We will see. But I'm just going to stack these just to get us a little more room here. You could also be in communication with them currently, or you might be on an app where communication is required. So that's an interesting feeling I got with that as well. So let's take a peek at who is coming towards pile 2. Who is coming towards pile 2, Spirit? Interesting. We have the Four of Cups. And I feel like this person's been quite heartbroken in the past. They are kind of not feeling... they've been disappointed in love. They have some regrets about their previous relationships. They could be recently coming out of a relationship as well. And I don't feel like they're in one right now. I feel like they're working through that, if anything. And so when you come in, they might still be in this process of kind of working through some stuff, and that's okay. We all come into relationships with baggage, whether we have been single for a period of time or whether we just broke up with somebody 3 months ago. So this person could be having some feelings about disappointing somebody in their previous relationship or not feeling too great about love, and I almost get the feeling that you're going to meet and it's going to spark a sense of joy in them again. But we will take a peek here. How will pile 2 meet this person? And I just want to say, because it's in the cards, just beware that they're not somebody who indulges in alcohol to a toxic degree. It's in the cards, so I have to say it. Okay. And I say that because this person is coming in with an offering of something, with an offer of help, with an offer of giving them a new cup so that they can kind of have that renewed sense of faith. So just make sure that whoever you are coming into connection with love, that it's not going to be a codependent relationship or somebody that might take advantage of your kind heart. Okay? So that is just a protection message there for you. How will you meet? 9 of Cups in reverse. Interesting. I feel like you're going to meet them at a time where you're feeling a little disappointed in life as well. You're feeling a little low. Things might have not turned out the way you hoped. You're kind of close to losing faith yourself in this whole love relationship thing. And you are almost looking to find a way to feel fulfilled. So maybe you're exploring things that might fill you up, that might give you joy again, because you're feeling really kind of down and out. And maybe this is part of your energy too, is that disappointment, that feeling of apathy. In terms of why do I get bar from this? I keep getting an alcoholic reference, so it could be a bar, nightclub, a social event, a party of some kind. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, just as long as that, the drinking isn't at a toxic level. But you could be out at a bar and you could end up having this common ground of just feeling down and out about relationships and really having this feeling of apathy, of not knowing if there is such thing. And we have the obstacle, which is the 6 of Wands. The 6 of Wands is usually celebration and being rewarded and being having a moment where you can really celebrate the things that you've achieved. And it's in your position of obstacle here. So is that difficult for you both to acknowledge each other's successes individually? And maybe your obstacle is trying to see the success in possibly these disappointments because they led you to meet each other. So I think the obstacle might be to not, maybe even for the both of you, to not sit in this Four of Cups and to ruminate and kind of sit in this energy of thinking about the past and the disappointments. And yes, it is a common ground potentially, but it's also, you need to look to the celebrations and the things that you can look forward to, and to bring a little bit of fire and passion and have a little fun as well, to really bring that celebration to life, which might be difficult with, if you're both having this similar energy of the Four of Cups and feeling a little disappointed. It might be difficult for you to really enjoy each other's company and enjoy the time you have, because there is this underlying feeling that this might go to that same place. So I think that obstacle is to try to bring a little bit of fire, a little bit of a spark of something new to this relationship, rather than kind of rooting it in your previous experiences. That's an interesting take there. Okay. And I also get the sense of there's a sense of performance here as well. So this person is performing for an audience. So the obstacle might be, and we'll get clarifiers for these because it might change the whole story once the clarifiers come out. But in terms of kind of tooting your own horn to the point where you're not really learning about the other person. And not to say that you are, and not to say this other person will, but there's kind of a show-off energy with the Six of Wands, and because it is in the obstacle, that is kind of the feeling that I got, is there needs to be a little humility as well with that celebration of success. So, okay, let's move on and see what the advice is for this. It's a very interesting read so far. Advice, please, Spirit, for pile 2. Knight of Cups. So this is kind of a follow your heart and tap back into those dreams that you've had about love. What are the things that you desire? You know, I think especially when we are single, we can really tap into those things without any influences around us, to tap into what person we want to be with, what kind of person, what kind of adventures or what kind of experiences do we want to have with this person, and really kind of focusing on that and taking action from that place of joy, of desire, of emotion, of that heart space. And if you have to, maybe make a list of the person that you want to bring into your life. And you know, there is a sense of, when they do come in, you know, what are those, considering those deal breakers and considering what those things that you can live without or you can't live without. And, you know, there's certain things that you just know for yourself. I know you probably have some kind of idea of the things that you just won't tolerate and the things that you just won't want to justify or excuse, or you know, you want to still maintain your own integrity and your own truth. So maybe exploring what those things are and what your ultimate dream relationship might be. I mean, that is an ideal. Yes, we won't get 100% from anyone, and relationships are work, so it's something that we may have to build up to. But at least if we have a sense of the kind of person we're looking for and the things that we are and aren't willing to there's a word I'm looking for, and tolerate might be a difficult, it's not the right word, and I'm sure it'll come to me, but sacrifice. Thank you. What are those things that you're willing to sacrifice and not? in order to maintain your own integrity and your own truth. Because once we start picking away at those things, those desires that we actually need to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to feel secure, then that's when anxiety starts to crop up. So maybe have a think about that in the most ideal way, because then that way we know when it comes to us that, yeah, this person's like 75% of the way there, and maybe vice versa, right? So we can, at least we have, a good chunk of what we need in order to feel good in the relationship, and the rest can either be not worried about, or they can be worked on, hopefully. All right, so let's get this clarifier, get a clarifier for the Four of Cups, please, Spirit. What is this Four of Cups all about? This is Four of Cups. Curious myself what this Four of Cups is all about. Okay, so there are three that wanted to flip out, but weren't quite strong enough. We have the Three of Swords. Goodness, okay. So that definitely tells me heartbreak, pain, heartache. Something that you hoped would bring beauty and strength to your life. And this could be this other person too, because we're talking about who's coming towards you. So my initial instinct with the Four of Cups of them kind of working through the end of a relationship might be that thing. To me, the Three of Swords kind of clarifies that, because it is a break, it is a heartbreak, it is, there is possibly some kind of death involved. And that doesn't have to mean a literal death, but an end of a relationship that has been quite painful and heartbreaking. So this person might come to you at a time where they're quite emotionally vulnerable, or possibly not ready to dive in as deep as you are. So definitely keep your eye out. That doesn't necessarily mean that this person will never be ready. It's just that when you meet, this person may be working through some stuff at the time. Okay, so let's clarify the Nine of Cups in reverse. Clarify, thank you. So we have the Queen of Swords. So how will you meet is in this, that's what is in this position here. So I immediately get problem solving from this. And I don't really know what that means, but there is something that either of you, maybe both of you or one of you, are trying to attain that you've been disappointed in. So you seek to solve that problem, and along that journey, that is how you will meet. This could be a quest for truth as well. So along the quest for truth in trying to figure out and maybe even work through these disappointments. So it could be, that could be a number of things. A lot of people, when they go through this period of heartbreak, they do things that they wouldn't normally do. So they step out of their comfort zones, and maybe they travel alone, or maybe they start going to yoga classes, and yoga was never their thing before. So it's this quest for figuring out who they are and how they can potentially get to the Ten of Cups, that fulfillment and harmony. How can they add that harmony and fulfillment to their life? And maybe that is you as well. You're both on this kind of parallel path to finding that fulfillment, and along the way to finding that truth and solving that problem. That's kind of when you meet. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a bar, like I mentioned before, but I feel, just on this quest to figuring this out, you discover each other. This also feels like even going back to school, because Queens, the sword energy is all about having a thirst for knowledge and gaining understanding and information. So if you go back to school to attain some kind of knowledge, and vice versa, this person could also be doing the same thing, in order to find some kind of fulfillment and maybe explore something new. I get a real teaching learning vibe from this. So when you, again, coming back to that quest of truth, quest of knowledge, quest of understanding, so that you can improve your chances at hitting the 10 of Cups and feeling fulfilled and finding that other person that can help add to that equation. That is kind of how and when I see you coming together. So let's clarify the 6 of Wands, which is a really interesting energy in the obstacle. 6 of Wands, please, Spirit. One card for the obstacle, please. And I apologize if you can hear the neighbor's dog. We have the 8 of Swords in the reverse position. This to me feels like, I don't know if it's show-off energy, overconfidence, ego. I mean, we all have ego, so this is just, and I feel it has something to do with insecurity about being in a cycle that you want to break. So you're almost, there's this overcompensation energy of, I'm just going to do the opposite of what I'm feeling so that, you know, I can mask what I truly feel. I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want this person to see this side of me. So I think it's kind of, the obstacle is coming to some sort of middle ground here where you're kind of working through the cycles and the feelings and maybe even the overthinking. And you're coming into a place of neutrality. So you understand that you're trying to work through this. And this could be a together thing. This doesn't necessarily, it could also be an individual thing where you're both working through these cycles. And so you kind of have to let your guard down a little bit with each other and not try to mask your truth, mask your reality, mask your troubles with you know, those successes and the things that you've accomplished. And almost like I get this sense of like a I don't know, like a chicken or a rooster or something kind of puffing up their feathers. And again, there is absolutely no judgment here, but that's kind of how I feel what the cards are telling me, especially because they're in the obstacle position. So it's about breaking those cycles of thinking, of interrupting those and changing the way you talk to yourself and changing the way you think of yourself and, you know, coming into how you truly feel rather than basing this thinking and this feeling about who you are on a past experience, if that makes sense. So let's get a final clarifier card now for the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups in the advice position, Spirit. Clarify the Knight of Cups in the advice. Not strong enough. We need strong energies here, Spirit. Thank you. All right. I love it when they fly out like that because it means they have something to say. So this is a little more reverse than not. We have the Ace of Pentacles here. Yeah. So the advice is to really evaluate your beliefs and values here. And I really like that energy with the Knight of Cups because we talked about looking at your ideal person, or at least the characteristics that they need to embody in order for you to feel comfortable and safe and excited and happy. And obviously that's not going to be 100% of the time. And, you know, they might not have certain things over others, but it's looking at, you know, trying to determine what are those deal breakers, what are those must-haves, and what are those things that you can kind of compromise on and work through. And so I really feel that you need to look at those values, those things that you value in a person, those things that you want to be valued for, and look at where the opportunity lies in finding somebody of that characteristic or personality. Because also too, I get that we can't move into a relationship strictly based on the heart and possibly what we feel about a person, because that really puts kind of a rose-colored glasses spin on things, and we overlook those red flags. We overlook the things, those deal breakers, and then eventually we get down the road and we come out of that honeymoon phase and realize like, oh, this person is kind of not really who I thought they were, or there's some things that I would like to have, change or be different. So it's looking at our dream scenario, our ideal, or close to ideal as possible, and then tapping into those values and why you value that in another person, and how does that make you feel if you were to come across a person that made you feel, what kind of characteristics would they embody to make you feel safe and secure and loved. What is your love language? That's kind of what I'm getting there too. So just exploring those things on your own before you meet somebody, because I feel like that's really important, or else, we get influenced by those external factors. All right, so what does pile 2 need to do? Thank you. So clear the old to start anew. So there might be some old patterns of thinking, patterns of behavior, negative mindsets, and even relationships, or like baggage from old relationships that we need to clear out. So we're going to get an oracle card to end your reading here. All right, Spirit, could we get a final message for pile 2, please, regarding what's coming towards them in love? Or what can they focus on right now to get the best chance? Oh, so a change in the wind. And I love, love, love that you got, it's very similar oracle card energies here. It's all about the wind. It's all about air. And it's all about, I feel like this clarity is coming through. And maybe that's what you need to focus on at the moment before this relationship enters, is clearing the old crap away. So I'm actually going to read a little bit of the message from this card, just as it might give us further information on the reading here. Now is a time of transformation, as outer conditions are temporarily moving out of sync with your desires and expectations, or have been. Stay the course and remember that even storms serve to clear the air, scatter seeds, and nourish the soil for better things ahead. Life is about to get interesting. Anticipate it with curiosity as you wonder what's coming in on the shifting winds. The unknown is where the magic lies. Hopefully, pile 2, this reading helped you today, and I hope it did resonate. You're welcome to comment below and let me know if and when this relationship enters your life, or like this video to say thank you. With gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Ace of Cups from the Everyday Witch Tarot, along with the Lapis Lazuli crystal, or stone. So this is for those who are single and not currently connected to anyone in a love relationship. So we're going to pull an energy for you right away, and just to get a sense for where you're at. And then we'll look at kind of who's entering, who's coming towards you, how you will meet them, obstacle, advice, and then we'll get some clarifying oracle cards at the end of your reading here. So Spirit, could we get an energy, thank you, for pile 3, please? And we have the Two of Cups, which is an energy of love relationships, of harmonious connections. However, it is in reverse. So I do almost wonder if you're somebody who might be a little jaded about relationships, or you might be coming out of a relationship, or it could be relatively recent, maybe within the last 2 months or 2 years, but you're feeling a little wobbly about relationships at this time. So while I feel like you really want and you really enjoy relationships, you're really not sure if it's for you. You're really unsure if it's going to happen. And really, we don't know. We just have to hopefully trust and understand that relationships, any relationship really, is an opportunity to learn about ourselves, to connect with someone else for a time, and hopefully we get something out of it. And yeah, we hopefully we get some good stuff out of it. So yeah, we've got a Three of Swords which came out, and I almost wonder if that has something to do with your situation here, because, and I'm only pulling it for that because I didn't ask the cards what we were going to pull a card for. So I almost wonder if, yeah, you are going through some pain, some heartbreak, and yeah, just a painful situation that has kind of really skewed your vision of relationships. And so yeah, naturally. So let's see, who's coming towards pile 3? Spirit, who's coming towards pile 3? Who's coming towards pile 3, please? Strongest energy. Who's coming towards pile 3? Thank you. So I feel, sorry, we have the Ten of Pentacles here, and it was in reverse. It's a really interesting energy that I'm getting from this person. Either they are not somebody who wants a family. They come from a family that is well off, but they want to create their own legacy. So they don't want to have a leg up by using their family's wealth. They could also come from a very small family or possibly a broken family. So there's a few possibilities here. And by broken family, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are a broken person either. And I don't think anybody is really broken. Let's just clarify that. I'm just saying that they might not have the traditional, you know, 2 parents and a sister or a brother and a dog and a cat. They might be quite separated from their family and very independent, kind of on their own. They might not have, maybe their parents have passed, or maybe they're just not in good relations with their family. Maybe they're an only child, etc. So there could be a couple of possibilities here. The clarifiers will hopefully clarify what that might be. So, how will you both meet? How will pile 3 meet this person? How will pile 3 meet this person? Spirit, 1 card for how they will meet this person. Okay. Another 3 here. We've got a 3 of Pentacles. So I sense that you're going to meet working on a project together or collaborating on something. You're going to be possibly one of many. Maybe you're on a team with this person, and you're going to be working on something together, whether that is directly or indirectly. But there is a sense of you coming together for a specific purpose or goal, and kind of working to your strengths, and they're working to their strengths, and yeah, building on something here, building for something here. Project is what I get, and this could have something to do with work as well. So it could be related to a business, a job, a career that you're following. Okay, what are the obstacles? Knight of Cups in reverse. So interesting, when the Knight of Cups is in the upright position, this would tell me that either of you or both of you are not only following your heart, but to a degree of you're not seeing the reality of the situation. You're overlooking the red flags. You're kind of overlooking where you're going, and you kind of end up in shark infested waters. But it is in reverse, so I almost get a sense that you're hesitant to follow your heart at all, because you don't trust. You don't feel like you're going to be. It feels like It feels like you feel like you're just going to be led back to this situation again. But we shouldn't paint everybody in every relationship with the same brush. And I know that is really difficult to do, especially if you're working through this currently. And if you've ever worked through that in the past, breakups are not fun, and it is very difficult to not apply those experiences to current relationships or future relationships. However, I think we just have to be aware of how we're doing that. And while, yes, we don't want to follow our heart without questioning things, we also don't want to block following our heart either out of fear. So I think that is why it's in the obstacle position and it's in reverse, because it is this sense of we can't, it's kind of this feeling of if we block it out completely, then we not only block out the bad stuff, but we block out the good stuff too. So I think the obstacle is trying to find that happy middle ground where you feel comfortable moving forward, but you're also a little cautious as well, and bringing in a little bit of the lessons that you've learned from the past, but not using them as fact for the future outcome. So let's get some advice now for pile 3. Advice now for pile 3 regarding the relationship that is coming towards them. Thank you. The Empress. That's a beautiful energy for this. So the advice here is, I think nurturing is going to be, and we have another 3. So nurturing, in order to really expand on how we feel, what we know, what our intuition and those gut feelings are telling us to do, is going to be something that you not only need to do within yourself, but within the relationship as well. And to really be aware of those things and have patience with and bring care to those things that are painful to you, that make you feel vulnerable or hurt, not necessarily by this person, but from the previous relationships. So, and previous experiences that we've had with love, or that you've had with love, pardon me. So I really feel it's kind of like, I'm reading this book now called The Art of Disappearing, and part of meditation is to do a body scan, and whenever you feel a little twinge of something, or whenever you bring awareness to a certain area that might not feel comfortable or good, to send mindful awareness and love to that area in your body. And I'm still trying to figure out what that feels like, what that looks like, but that's kind of the energy that I'm getting here as well, is whenever you feel like you are triggered or you are upset or you're feeling really vulnerable, to offer yourself some compassion and care, some self-love, to really nurture yourself. And because I think you're birthing something new here, not in the physical form, but in the sense of doing something different, in the sense of really trying to break out of these old patterns and to do new things. And the only way we can do that is to kind of heal what we have experienced in the past, and to hopefully bring a new self to the table, so that we can step into our true abundance and our higher timeline, our higher self, whatever that might look like for you. But yeah, nurturing, self-care, patience, because it will take a lot of patience, because when a person is pregnant, it doesn't happen overnight. There's a process to it. There's timing involved, and there is that nurturing. You have to make sure that your body is in tip-top shape and you're taking care of it, and you're sending loving energy and doing your best to make sure that baby is healthy. And that's kind of the very similar energy here, is that bring that motherly care to yourself. Mother yourself the way you would like to be mothered, or the way you'd care for a friend. That same kind of compassion and care, bring that to yourself, and even bring that into the relationship as well. Okay, so we've got clarifier. Yeah, interesting. For the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, and in this position, we're talking about who's coming towards you. So as I mentioned, this person's not a family person. or they could be disconnected from their family. And here we have the King of Pentacles, which is a very kind of master energy where they have built something on their own. They have created something on their own. And I feel like there is a very independent energy here. So they could be a little older. And so it might come to a surprise that they might not have kids, or maybe they don't have connections to their parents. They could be past. They could not be in connection for some reason. But there, again, I get this feeling of a very independent energy. And an energy where they want to build something on their own. They don't want to lean on the kind of the prosperity or their family wealth in order to build something. They have great pride in what they want to build, and they want to do it on their own. And I feel like they've done that very successfully. And I feel like they're in a position to care for the people around them in that way as well, to provide and to care for and to enjoy life. And I feel that's kind of where they're at right now. They've made their money, they have worked really hard for it, and now they just want to enjoy it with somebody. So how will they meet? Three of Pentacles in the upright, please, Spirit. Can you clarify the Three of Pentacles here? Clarify the Three of Pentacles here. Thank you. Six of Swords. That's an interesting clarifier for the Three of Pentacles. You know what? The energy that I get is like you almost didn't work on this project. You almost opted out. And it's almost like this divine timing or like fate came in and said, and kind of pulled you in. That's kind of the first feeling that I got from that. The other feeling that I get is that the project is not going well. There's a bit of a bumpy road, and you might come together and have this common ground of, oh man, that project was so rough, and this didn't really come together in the way we thought. But I really get this sense of you kind of being in the weeds here of this project or this thing that you're both working on together. And I almost feel like that's the common ground that you kind of start talking about and connect on, is not only being a part of the team, a part of the project in some way, but kind of the process and how you would do things differently. And, oh, I would do this, and yeah, so would I. And, oh, we kind of think the same, and our process would be the same. So, there's that commonality there. Let's clarify this Knight of Cups in the obstacle position, please. Knight of Cups, clarify in the obstacle position, please. Thanks. We have the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, so interesting. Because, this is all about, it feels like movement. Movement is your obstacle. And how to go about moving is to take things slow and to step things back, but not so much that you're standing still. Because the Page of Pentacles, Pentacles are when we get into the court cards, they are a very slow moving energy. And when they're in the reverse position, they're stuck, or they're not moving at all. But the desire is still there. So don't get yourself stuck and not move forward at all because you are afraid, because you fear that you'll get back into this energy, or you feel like you don't know where you're going and what you're doing and what do I want now, and so you're questioning. I would like to think, and I think self-care is going to be part of that process, but I almost wonder if you can evaluate those things rather than be stuck and stagnated by the fear. I wonder if you can really analyze and come up with some kind of plan or a strategy of defining what works and what doesn't for you. And that might help to prevent you from moving strictly with the heart and then getting yourself into a situation where, yeah, the honeymoon phase is over and, I'm starting to really not like this person. And I think that is a natural process. So it's not about never getting to that phase. of the honeymoon is over and now, we're an old married couple and there's certain traits that I really don't like. It's about really looking at how that played out in your previous relationships and what were some of the red flags that you might have overlooked that you can really apply in the situation and come up with a plan or some kind of not strategy, but just defining for yourself. You don't have to write it down. You can just define that this is something that I didn't like in my previous relationship and it really bothered me for a long time, and it's because of this reason. And so therefore I need somebody that not necessarily does this, and this, but that offers a feeling or a sense of whatever it is. And this is how I'm going to know if they bring that to the table. So yeah, I don't know if that's helpful, but I think the obstacle is to not prevent moving forward or moving at all and staying in the stuck energy because you are uncertain and you have a little fear about how to move forward. And that just might come in time, and that might come with meeting that person as well. So yeah, maybe some analysis is required of the past just to get some answers on how to move forward. It's kind of what I was getting there. I was a bit long-winded. Sometimes it's so funny. I have so much energy for your reading, and usually by the last read, I tend to start losing energy, but I have more words and more energy than I had in pile 1. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I feel like there's a lot of messages that need to come out for this one for some reason. All right, so advice. Clarify the Empress, please. Thank you. Interesting. The 7 of Pentacles. And we talked about just now about analyzing and looking at the past to see what works and what doesn't. And that's exactly this energy of, looking at the things that you've put your energy into and understanding what felt good and what didn't feel good, and, how it got worked through, if at all. And yeah, there's just so much I feel that could potentially be looked at here and really kind of brought up to the surface to heal and to really work through and process and understand. And that may be easier said than done, but there's a sense of you trying to tie up loose ends here, and there is a feeling of you needing to do that analysis of taking a step back rather than jumping into something else and trying to see if it works. It's about taking that time, having that patience to plant some new seeds and to kind of weed out the garden. Both of these are gardens, and one is beautiful and abundant and very intentional and very grounded and rooted. And this one is similar, but it's kind of in the process of being created, of in the stages of growth. So rather than waiting to see what fruits and what doesn't, it's about stepping in and weeding out the things that aren't working and kind of nurturing the things that are working and doubling down and identifying those things, and how can we replicate that, and how can I do more of that in my own personal life, not just within the relationship. So let's get an oracle card. What can pile 3 do to really help themselves prepare? Interesting. Change in small ways each day. And that is a number 8, which is all about transformation, as is the butterfly and coming out of the cocoon. And it's a very different, it's a metamorphosis. It's going from this worm thing, caterpillar, which is, wormy and fuzzy, and going into this chrysalis, this cocoon, to get all mushy and weird and develop things. And again, we've got that, nurturing energy there and emerging something completely new. So it is about this transformative process. And I think that works really well in conjunction with your advice, is to not overhauling yourself in one day, but making tiny changes to be able to heal from whatever this heartbreak and heartache and pain might be, so that you can really show up to the table as someone who is completely open and ready and not going to kind of get stuck in any energies that are keeping them held back. So we're going to get a final oracle card message for you, which hopefully will clarify the end of your reading here. I don't typically do love readings because it's really difficult to not just look at the general readings for individual people that might show up to my channel, but to do that for individuals as well as kind of a third party that is completely distant. It's really difficult. So yeah, this is new for me. We'll see if we kind of continue with these. But for now, since it's February, the month of love and connection, I thought I would do these. All right, so pile 3. Spirit, could we get a final message for pile 3, please, in regards to what's next for them in love? Pile 3, please. What's next for them in love, please? One card. All right, not talking. Thank you. Oh, you got 2. All right. So we have Unfinished Symphony. So I get a very similar feeling to this one because there could be some unfinished business that you have to finally weed out and move on from. So the Unfinished Symphony is that feeling of having to move on without getting closure or answers. And then we have Higher Power, which I feel is an intuitive card of tapping into your higher self. What would your higher self do if you were embodying all of those things that your higher self wants for their life and is currently living that life? How would they act? How would they behave? How would they think? How would they dress? How would they navigate their day-to-day life? And I'm going to actually get the messages from the book for these, just because it might clarify it a bit better than what I can do or I can share, even though I have a lot of words right now. We're just going to move these over so all of the cards can hopefully be in frame here. So for the Unfinished Symphony, I'm just going to read the messages that I feel are relatable to this reading. Moving on is difficult when love lingers. Things are left unsaid and you haven't had the opportunity for closure in your relationship and in your heart. You can still feel bound up in relationships when closure is denied you. It's important to achieve this for yourself. Write that letter, make that call, or have that conversation over a cup of coffee. For peace of mind, accept matters as they are. Make amends if need be, and declare your feelings, even if only to yourself. Be clear about what was left unresolved and close the door on the past so you can set yourself free. Only then new love can blossom. So that's kind of what I was mentioning with this energy here of clearing out that old stuff, of coming to some sort of healing or identifying what it is in the past that kind of tripped you up. So it's about looking at that and trying to identify it, have some clarity, and hopefully bring yourself some closure. So now we're going to take a look at the Higher Power card. It's time to address how much effort you give to your relationship with your higher power. Whatever name you might give it, that is sacred and holy. Recognize that your partnership with your own spirit is #1 priority. The appearance of this card also indicates that there is a deep spiritual bond between you and another person who is essential to your growth and evolution. Tend to your spiritual connections and remain aware of your true nature. So, yeah, I don't know if that helps in any way, but I almost, go back to that feeling of your higher self and really connect to your spirituality here, which might really help you kind of work through whatever this energy is kind of lingering or you're working through at this time. And I feel like once that's kind of resolved as much as it can be for the time, then I think you're going to meet this new person. But even then, I mean, nobody's perfect. So definitely don't think that this has to be perfect or ideal in order for you to meet this person. It just, it'll happen when it happens in its own divine timing. But the only thing we can really focus on right now in the meantime, before it actually happens, is to focus on self, focus on that self-care, focus on weeding out that garden and connecting with our spirit and our truth. So pile 3, this was your reading. I hope something here resonated and was helpful to you today. You're welcome to comment below to let me know, or like this video to say thank you. With gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading.